My notes from today, I organized them a little bit and let's get into it. I thought it was interesting. First, the most effective person and the least effective person are both living the same amount of time every single day. So the differences in their lives must come from how they're spending their time and what they're choosing to do with it. So we all want things that we don't have, and we need to do something that we haven't done yet to get those things. And there's a lot of requirements to get that thing. Coach Nick Saban said that if you want to be great, which means if you put a desire, you really don't have a lot of choices, because it's what you do that gets what you get. And so if you aim in for something specific, that's automatically limiting the amount of choices that you're free to make. So we must be willing to do two things, which is first, accept the price that's required to get what you want. And then you have to be willing to accept that compared to all the other things that you can also get in your life. And the price we pay is limited on two resources, which is your time and your energy, because we don't have all day and everybody's got the same amount of time. So you must decide which is higher. Either the cost that's required to get what you want, or the cost of never getting it. So nobody can make that decision for you though, because that's personal. The decisions are never in themselves right or wrong. They're only right or wrong depending on where you want to go. Like, you're not taking a wrong turn on the road if you're not trying to get anywhere. And I think that's from Alice in Wonderland. The cat said something similar to that. But we spend the same amount of time and energy every day. And we only get 24 hours, and we're obligated to spend that every single day. Where we do get the opportunity to decide is what we spend it on. But that decision is for us to make with our own abilities. And it's important that we do that. If you really want something, if you really, really want it, you would set up your day and the tasks that you decide to do within it to get the most out of them as you can. So you're moving as close to your goal with as little amount of effort as possible. So that way you have more effort to use on all the other things that you want to do. Here's an idea, and I like this, but here's an idea about a strategy that could work and a system to make this real. Because we could talk about the philosophy all the time, but here's a real strategy that could make this work. And it's not anything different than what we've already been doing in our lives. It's just trying to put words to it so that we can use it to our benefit. And when you were a kid, think back to when you were a young kid, before you ever thought of any type of where you were at with status-wise, or the failures that you had, or all those negative things that you think about the moment you wake up and the moment you go to sleep now, the responsibilities, the problems, the worries that you have. When you were going to bed as a kid, what you would do is imagine the next day, and you're thinking about all the possibilities of what was going to come, and you wake up. And I mean, you have that energy now. The most important moment, the highlight of some people's day, is going to bed and getting back under the sheets. So the main thing is, which I thought was funny, is that the kids wake up and they have energy to go. They feel ready for it because they're not paying attention to any of the other things outside. But we're not living that kid's life. There's more responsibility. So what can we do? We use the same exact system, just intentionally. And it goes like this. Before you go to bed, write out on a piece of paper everything that would be good to do the next day. Then second, you're going to go and sort all of those things into three groups: the must, the should, and the could. It's pretty self-explanatory of what those are. Don't overcomplicate it. And then what you're going to do is, within each of those categories, you line them up from the most important to the least. And just use your brain here. Don't think emotionally about it. Just line them up and say which one would be the best one to do, and then organize them that way. Now, make sure, this is step number 3. All you got to do is make sure that no matter what, the first thing on the must list gets done the next morning when you wake up. If you were to die and the only thing that you'd be held responsible for was that number one thing on the list, because believe it or not, that thing is going to get you closer to your goal than doing almost usually every other thing on the list. And it's also usually the most complex. It takes the most amount of time, and it's the least controllable in your view. So it creates a lot of stress. You've probably been putting it off for months. So you're going to face that thing and think about it. And the only responsibility you have the entire next day is that number one thing on the list gets done. You cannot move on to any other thing and pick and choose what you want to do. You're choosing it there. So that's why it's not an emotional thing. Once you set the list, it's done. You pre-decide for yourself what you are going to achieve the next day. Now, the fourth thing that will start to happen is you are already going to start feeling a little bit of satisfaction from it, and you haven't even started attempting it yet. You'll feel emotion, you'll feel motivation to do it, and you'll start to imagine all these things, and you think, oh my goodness, I'm going to go do that tomorrow. And you're going to automatically, you got to capture this. And this part is maybe the most important out of the entire thing. When you walk into a gym, this is a metaphor here. When you walk into a gym, you don't go immediately to the heaviest weight you've ever lifted and start lifting it up. You need to warm your brain up. We are going to prepare to do the biggest task. It's hard to immediately pick up the hardest thing every single day, especially the one that you've been putting off for so long. So how are we going to warm it up? We need to get in shape mentally. It's the same as the physical body. It needs to be trained over time to hold the stress and not freak out. So how are we going to do that? What are we trying to do with this whole system is eliminate warming up for the entire day and never lifting the weight up. So the way we're going to do that, your brain needs to become conditioned, just like your physical body. It has two parts. This is important to understand, and then we'll finish out the example, and then that's all I got. So it's got two parts. The neocortex, which is the logical or the conscious brain, and then it also has the limbic system, which is helpful, but most of the time, it's what's keeping you away from your goals. So the limbic, which is subconscious and automatic, it's keeping everything in your body going. You're not even thinking about it, and it's doing its system. So we need it, but we also need to control it where we can. Because if it's controlling you without you thinking about it, it's also going to limit you without you having any control over it if you're not aware. So where these two meet, this might get a little philosophical, but I'm going to try to bring it back. Where these two sections meet is called, let's just call it the sweet spot. I mean, this is the secret power between, I'm just going to read this because I like the way that I wrote it. And this is hard. It's the secret power to the achievement. It's the balance between the logical and the illogical. It's the emotion, but also the morals. It's the reality and the infinite intelligence. That's where those things meet. The stuff you fully understand and the stuff that you don't. So that's fine. This is the soul. It's the connection point between your infinite spirit and your physical limited body. Right? This is where everything that we want to get done, it's going to happen in this zone right here, because this is where we ultimately make our decisions and where we go to achieve our destiny. We do the things that we're destined to do. And so what we're going to do is close your eyes after we've written these things down. We've identified the most important thing that we're going to do, and breathe. Breathing is the only automatic function we can actually control if we think about it. It takes focus. But it's the bridge that starts the connection. It's such a beautiful thing. Meditation uses it. Yoga uses it. People that know a heck of a lot more about this stuff than I do. And I've been taught that my whole life, but I never knew why. It's the bridge that's connecting those two. But it's the only thing, it's the key that was given to us to be able to have some sort of effect over it. It's amazing. And so we need to get these two areas more aligned with each other. And aligned to what, though? The first thing on the list. You are going to imagine in detail everything about the task. You're going to imagine the things what do you need to do to achieve it? And what are the things that are going to stop you from achieving that thing? Right? What is it going to feel like when you're doing it? What if you were already doing it right now? What does it look like? If you were done with it, you're going to imagine like you already had completed that thing, the type of person you would need to be to do it. And as you're doing that, you will literally start to feel excited and motivated. You're going to feel in control. You're going to feel like an actor. You're going to feel like an agent. And you're imagining all those details and you're getting ready and you're getting pumped up about it. And remind yourself in that moment why that thing is important. So you're going to think through all that. Then as you sleep, you're going to drift off into sleep. Your brain is going to be working on that and it's going to feel that positive emotion while you're sleeping. I don't even know how these things work, but I'm trying to, man. And so it's going to worry and you're going to fall asleep because you're not going to be worried about anything that you're going to have to do that day or what's going to happen. Your brain is going to be preparing itself and warming up the entire morning, all throughout the night to be able to achieve what you wanted to do. You're preparing your brain. Then as you sleep, right, you will actually rest and you'll be ready to go when you wake up. And all you need to worry about is that one task. Not 50 things, not what am I going to do today, not where am I going to end up and what's going to happen. And I got to figure out, it's just that one first task that you've already imagined how to do it. You already know what's going to stop you. You already know what's going to help you to get there. And not what should I do or is my life worth it or any of those things. Just get to work. Just go do it. And you have already done yourself a favor, right? You already chose what you're going to achieve today. And get to work and enjoy the person that you really want to be, instead of motivating your lazy self to become someone better and wonder why it's not working. So this isn't new at all. This is already what you do naturally, right? And over time, it will become more natural as you use it intentionally. You will love your life, not because of discipline or self-control or white knuckling it till the end harder than everybody else, but because you love how you feel when you are doing it. It will become impossible not to do it, and you will achieve more than you ever thought was possible. But don't think about that now. Only worry about the first task. That is all that stands between you and who you want to be. Oh, this is amazing. You are only one act away. Because as you do that act, you already are the person that you want to be. Busy doing the most important thing that you could be doing that day. You will never be able to replace this satisfaction. You will desire it more than anything else. Even if you only marked one thing off each day, through the years of your life, you would never look the same. To prove it, what if you did? What if you improved your life by just 1% every day? Only 1%. After 1 year, it would have multiplied 37 times the original. The win you are chasing is momentum and never perfection. It's about sacrificing the perfect possibility for the limited reality. Building that momentum up. It's not about perfect. We're not aiming for perfect here. We're just building something that's going to turn into this momentum that we love, a life that we love, a purposeful life, one day at a time. If you keep your momentum alive, you will win.